Lions news fan report. Have you ever stopped to think about the true weight of a strategic decision within an NFL franchise? What drives a team to give up valuable draft picks in exchange for a player who, despite showing promise, carries questions about consistency and long-term impact? This is precisely the crossroads at which the Detroit Lions find themselves during this critical 2025 offseason. While fans focus on the flashiest moves of free agency, behind the scenes in Detroit, a profound restructuring is underway, driven by a single obsession: solidifying the defense. And with good reason. The 2024 season was marked by a wave of injuries that devastated the Lions' defensive unit. More than 10 defensive players landed on injured reserve at some point during the year, directly impacting the performance of a unit that, just 1 year earlier in 2023, had ranked among the top 10 in defensive efficiency. What we witnessed in 2024 was a sharp and undeniable decline. Faced with that reality, the Lions front office wasted no time. Within the first 2 weeks of free agency, 5 of the team's 7 acquisitions were defensive players. The majority of the attention went to the cornerback position, following the departure of Carlton Davis. The signing of 3 new cornerbacks signaled a clear attempt to rebuild the secondary, which had been exposed repeatedly due to lack of depth and reliability. Yet, while this was a necessary move, it doesn't fully address the team's most urgent need, a dominant defensive line. When Aiden Hutchinson missed time due to injury in 2024, the Lions' front 7 struggled mightily to apply pressure. Even when Hutchinson was on the field, without consistent help on the opposite edge, offensive lines had the luxury of doubling him, neutralizing his impact. As a result, quarterbacks faced less pressure, receivers had more time to separate, and opposing offenses extended drives with ease. Now, with Hutchinson expected to return fully healthy in 2025, there's renewed optimism. But the team also cut veteran pass rusher Zadarius Smith during the offseason, leaving a glaring hole on the other side of the line. Detroit simply cannot afford to waste Hutchinson's prime years without a capable counterpart on the edge. And that's where a bold idea is emerging from NFL insiders and analysts alike: a potential trade for Philadelphia Eagles pass rusher Bryce Huff. Before we dive into what that trade could mean for the Lions, it's important to understand who Bryce Huff is and why he's attracting attention from teams looking to upgrade their pass rush. Huff entered the NFL in 2020 as an undrafted free agent out of the University of Memphis. Overlooked by all 32 teams during the draft, he found an opportunity with the New York Jets and made an immediate impression. In his rookie year, he recorded 16 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks across 14 games. While those numbers weren't eye-popping, they were more than enough to secure his place as a valuable rotational piece with upside. His performance remained steady over the next 2 seasons, but 2023 was his breakout year. Huff exploded for 10 sacks, 29 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 67 quarterback pressures, 12 quarterback hits, and 45 quarterback hurries, according to PFF. That production caught the attention of teams across the league, and in the 2024 offseason, the Philadelphia Eagles signed him to a 3-year, $51 million contract. The Eagles' plan was to integrate Huff into an already stacked defensive front featuring stars like Haason Reddick and Josh Sweat. However, Huff struggled to maintain the level of play he had shown in 2023. His numbers dipped: just 2.5 sacks, 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 20 pressures. He remained a part of the rotation, but did not live up to the expectations that came with his new contract. Now the Eagles find themselves in a difficult spot. They have other young pass rushers outperforming Huff, and with 3 defensive line starters departing, the team must evaluate where Huff truly fits in. According to NFL analyst Mo Moton, Philadelphia could be open to trading Huff for a 4th and 7th round pick in the 2025 draft, a relatively modest price for a pass rusher with proven upside. For the Detroit Lions, this may be the exact kind of opportunity they need. Pairing Huff with Hutchinson would allow Huff to operate with less pressure and more favorable matchups, benefiting from the double teams that Hutchinson draws. Huff's explosive first step and sharp hand technique make him a natural edge threat, and within Detroit's evolving defensive system, he could thrive once again. From a tactical standpoint, a Hutchinson-Huff duo could completely change the dynamics of the Lions' front 7. With 2 capable edge rushers collapsing the pocket from both sides, opposing quarterbacks will be forced into hurried decisions. That would ease the burden on the revamped secondary and create more chances for sacks, interceptions, and forced fumbles. However, this isn't a risk-free move. Huff is coming off a down year, and while his 2023 performance was elite, there's no guarantee of a repeat. The $51 million contract is a significant financial commitment, and Detroit still has future cap management concerns, including extensions for key young players. That said, if the Lions structure the trade wisely and build protections into the financial terms, the potential reward far outweighs the risk. They don't need Huff to be a Pro Bowler. They need him to be a steady, disruptive presence. With Hutchinson commanding attention, Huff wouldn't need to carry the load. He'll be able to work in space, exploit mismatches, and reignite the form that once made him one of the most efficient pass rushers in the league. Most importantly, a move like this would signal one thing loud and clear: the Lions are not satisfied with just being competitive. They want to win. This is the kind of calculated risk that championship-caliber teams make. The kind of move that shifts the perception of a franchise from up-and-coming to fully arrived. In practical terms, the addition of Huff would allow Detroit to run more aggressive 4-3 fronts, diversify blitz packages, and mix coverages with more flexibility. The defensive coordinator would gain a broader palette of tools, disguise pressures, simulated blitzes, and stunts that would make Detroit's front unpredictable and dangerous. Huff's presence could elevate the entire unit, creating synergy across the line, linebackers, and secondary. What's more, the Detroit Lions have not been known for their defensive prowess in recent seasons, but this could change quickly. For years, the team has struggled with defensive consistency, often relying on explosive offensive play to carry them through games. But as we look to 2025 and beyond, Detroit has the potential to become a defensive powerhouse, with a revamped defensive line and secondary ready to make waves in the NFC. A defensive-minded team with the ability to close out games with pressure and stop opposing offenses could make a legitimate playoff run, and even contend for a Super Bowl. Additionally, the Lions general manager, Brad Holmes, has shown a keen eye for identifying talent that fits the team's needs. His ability to evaluate players and make calculated decisions has led to some of the team's most successful draft picks in recent years. If the Lions do acquire Huff, it will likely be part of a broader strategy that complements their young stars, such as Hutchinson, and creates a more balanced and formidable roster. Holmes' vision for a tough, physical defense could finally come to fruition, setting the foundation for sustained success. Moreover, a successful defense is not just about sacking quarterbacks or preventing touchdowns. It's about creating opportunities for the entire team to succeed. A defensive line that generates constant pressure can force mistakes, set up turnovers, and disrupt the flow of the game. That's where Huff's potential comes in. His ability to get to the quarterback and affect the pocket, when paired with Hutchinson's own playmaking abilities, could take the Lions' defense to a level few expected just a few years ago. The entire defense would benefit from a stronger pass rush, making it easier for the secondary to make plays and turn the tide of games. So the big question remains, should the Lions pull the trigger on this trade? As a fan, analyst, or football strategist, do you believe the upside justifies the investment? Does Huff represent the final piece of the puzzle for a defense that already has the foundation of greatness in place? What's undeniable is that this trade could define the next chapter of Detroit Lions football. If Huff returns to form, the Lions may finally have the kind of defense that doesn't just support the offense, but wins games outright. If you enjoyed this video and want more in-depth, high-level coverage like this, make sure to follow our channel. Stay ahead of every major move and insider analysis on the Detroit Lions right here at Lions News Fan Report. We'll see you in the next breakdown.